So let's take a look at some of the new and scary improved firepower for the Chaos Space Marines, and see what this Cult of Destruction has in store. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, where today we're talking Chaos Marines, and in particular focusing on Obliterators in another leaked datasheet that's coming out from the new codex. Obliterators are the mighty Cult of Destruction monstrosities, absolutely covered in guns, and while they were kind of an interesting unit when the Chaos Codex first came out in 8th edition, times really haven't been too kind to them, and even with all the crazy buffs that you could put on them in the old Chaos Codex, things like easy access to double shoot combined with rerolls and prescience, they still weren't a unit commonly run by all that many people. I suppose they could be kind of interesting if you shielded them from being shot with something like Alpha Legion, but still they were just a bit unreliable and not all that scary. It looks like they're looking decently stronger with this new datasheet though, so let's talk about their inflated stats, more powerful weapons, and a very nice new ability, and then do a little math hammer comparison, seeing how well the new guns compare against the random old ones. So first up, in the new Chaos Codex, the Obliterators are confirmed to be a heavy support choice, 1 to 3 models at 90 points each, so that's down 5 points compared with where they were previously. It does appear that they might be the only Cult of Destruction models that you can field now. The Mutilators don't appear to be in this book. I don't know if Games Workshop's just pulling their previous models and basically counting them as a weird version of Obliterator perhaps. Statline wise, they move a little bit faster at 5 inches, still hit on 3s, their strength and toughness 5, 5 wounds now, so +1 from before, 4 attacks, leadership 9 and a 2+ save with a 5+ invul on top of that. 2+ saves and all those wounds do seem very nice at the moment. Armour of Contempt should go some way to keeping them safe. I think previously they did still have a problem with being a little bit too easy to kill for the points cost, and now the extra wound will really help with that, particularly if they can get in cover. Keywords wise, they have the Demonkin keyword, their infantry, they have Cult of Destruction and Traitoris Astartes. The biggest and most obvious one that they're missing though is the core keyword. It does mean that they're unlikely to be able to get some of the most easy buffs available in the codex, though it does look like they'll at least have some synergy with the Demonkin keyword. They'll be getting on very well with the Infernal Master, I suspect. It looks like he has a spell for regenerating slain obliterators from the dead, which is a pretty crazy deal when they cost 90 points. The enemy really isn't going to want to kill part of the squad, but not all of it. There also appears to be a Malefic spell that allows a Demonkin unit to get +1 to the wound roll for an enemy within 18 inches. When you're packing the kind of firepower that the Obliterators are, then that's going to be another very nice buff indeed. Talking of that firepower though, the flesh metal guns that they're armed with have been drastically reimagined. In the previous version they always got 6 shots, but they were really random in what they did. You got D3 extra strength, AP and damage, and if you happen to roll poorly for them, then you could be hitting very underwhelming indeed, or get extra damage when you didn't need it perhaps. Rather than being a completely unknown quantity, you now pick one of 3 different fire types. There's Warp Hail for anti-infantry duties, D6 plus 9 shots at strength 5, AP -1 and damage 1, pretty good for clearing out low save hordes. Ruinous Salvo, which is D3 plus 3 shots at strength 7, AP -2 and damage 2, rarely going to be bad against most things, but likely going to be good against heavy infantry. And then Focused Malice, a heavy anti-tank strike, D3 shots at strength 9, AP -3 and damage 4. None of these appear to have the blast keyword either though, so you're not going to get extra shots against big ranked up squads. In general, these guns do appear to outcompete the old version. I've done a little bit of math hammer on them, which we'll see in just a second. In melee, their crushing fists are a fair bit better as well. They still have 4 attacks, as they would have had 4 with Hateful Assault before, but now rather than just being strength 6 and AP -1, they're going to be a pretty hefty strength 10 and AP -3 with damage 2, so they should be able to put the hurt on at least a few heavy infantry. I'd still say that perhaps their damage output isn't exactly stellar for the amount of points cost that they have there, but it doesn't really have to be in combat as they're much more of a ranged unit. I guess it's pretty threatening if the enemy does put something too close, they could potentially shoot it and then proceed to charge it in combat, if you think that maybe 12 Power Fist equivalent attacks would make the difference. Finally, they've got another reason that they're really not going to be fearing melee, as they do have quite a cool new special rule. The Obliterators have picked up the rule that seems to be the equivalent of vehicles in combat, or now battlesuits in combat, and if they're within engagement range of the enemy, they can fire their flesh metal guns into them, though they do take a -1 penalty to hit. It's really quite nice at shoring up quite a big weakness for them. With short-ranged and really quite expensive gun troops, you really didn't want them getting locked up, as you could have their entire value wasted. And this means that even if the opponent does engage them and weathers their power fist attacks, they're still going to be unloading a similar amount of firepower. Pretty scary stuff, and beyond just killing them or attempting to outrange them, it does mean that just tying them up with chaff isn't as good a deal. Otherwise, they do keep their other special rules that they had. I think previously their other weapons were assault weapons, but they do get to move and shoot these heavy weapons without penalty. And they also have that warp strike keyword, which looks like it's a reimagination of the deep strike special rule. So if you want to put them in reserve and pretty much guarantee an alpha strike on one target, then you can still do so. Overall, it looks like a full all-round upgrade for these guys. They're tougher to enemy shooting, significantly better in combat, both with their weapons and shooting there, and their guns are improved. I'd say perhaps the main downside is that they're probably going to lose a fair bit of support by not having core, but I'm sure they'll have some cool options open to them. Finally, just for a bit of fun, I thought it would be interesting to compare the damage output to their previous version, and I have adjusted for points for this, as the new version is also 5 points cheaper. The previous weapon profile was again 24 inches, assault 6 shots at strength 6 plus d3, AP minus d3 and damage d3, and I have accounted for the randomness against the targets. Against guardsmen, 90 points worth of Obliterator would kill 4.6 of them, a big almost plus 50% increase on the previous. Against Space Marines it's equally good news, an even bigger boost mainly due to the flat damage 2 and lots of shots being very reliable. They're great against toughness 7 vehicles, with wounding on 3s and a big flat damage 4, but it does seem they get perhaps the least extra mileage against really tough hard targets. A toughness 8 vehicle with a 5 plus invul and minus 1 damage would have the new profile doing around 1.8 wounds to it, where the old one's on more like 1.5, so not really quite as big a difference really. Overall, I'd certainly say that they're looking interesting. They're certainly far more general purpose, and it's a flat increase against all targets, and with the extra combat resilience and survivability, they're looking like a stronger unit. It'll be interesting to see what sort of support that they get in the new Chaos Codex. Let me know what you think of the stats down in the comments below. Look forward to hearing all your thoughts and ideas, and feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics if you'd like to see more videos like this. I'll be reviewing the Chaos Codex when it comes out, and any more leaks that we happen to get before then. Finally, if you have been enjoying the videos on the channel, I would just like to mention that Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page, and you can find that down in the video description. Channel patrons do get a fair few advantages, seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things happen next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with the chance to win some big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you, or you'd just like to help support, the link is down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.